Hey everyone, I hope you are all well. Today's video is going to be about 10 business ideas for expats. I know that usually when people are considering moving abroad, the first thing they think of in most cases is, how will I support myself? I need a job. I'm going to look for jobs. What is the job market like? What jobs are available? What job can I do? I'm just going to get any job. Not the majority of people think of the business ideas and opportunities that are available, especially when they're moving abroad, because it's almost like taking an even bigger leap. It's already a big enough leap just moving abroad. If you do a bit of research, a bit of digging, it might not be as hard to start a business as you think. Loads of people actually go to specific countries to establish their business for various reasons, because maybe it's more profitable there, lower tax requirements. There are all sorts of reasons why people would go abroad to specific countries that they don't even have any relation to, specifically to start a business. It's not always easy finding a job you feel passionate about straight away, but you can always work on your business, even if it is part-time, so that it can eventually take over and become that job that you have created. This is more about prompting you to think of these different ideas so that you know that you aren't exactly stuck. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. The first business idea is all about local travel. So this could be totally online or a combination of both, online and offline. So what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about local travel is talking about the specific country that you are in. So you focus on that specific niche, which will be the country, the city, the language, the experience, the expat experience, the local experience. You can collaborate with local businesses, local people, local entities, the tourism board, and you can get clients from all over the world who have a specific interest in coming to that place which you are essentially promoting as part of your business model. A way in which you would promote this online could be through a blog, advertising, social media, your website, and content is reaching people all over the world, because people want to consume content which is entertaining but informative. I think essentially you will definitely need online even to promote the offline. That's why I say either totally online or a combination of online and offline. So online, you can use content to promote the country, give consultations once you are well versed in the local culture, the local country, things to do. It's almost like you become a travel agent, you become a travel consultant. You can write books, you can create courses, you can actually use the content to promote the other products, which will also be accessible online. So when I talk about a combination between online and offline, if most of you are most likely wanting to do the offline stuff and deal with people face to face, that is something that you can do. There are so many different things that you can do, so many experiences you can run, and there are so many platforms to run a local travel business from. Platforms that you literally do not have to create yourself, they already exist. Of course, it's always useful for you to have your own website, but there are so many platforms out there. To name just one, Airbnb. They have this section on the website whereby you can actually create an experience. Maybe you want to teach people how to cook the local cuisine, or you want to show people a part of a city. Some people are a little bit picky where they would probably want a native showing them around, but it can also be quite fascinating learning about a place through the eyes of an expat. I've seen plenty of people running experiences, local travel, cuisine, culture experiences online as well, whether it be cooking class, so many classes, all to do with local travel. And again, I'm going to reiterate, you can either do this solely online or you could do this both online and offline. Obviously you can just be offline, but people need a way to kind of get in touch with you, get in touch with your team if you have a team. That's just number one. I'm sorry I've taken a long time to round this off. Okay, so number 2 is a restaurant. You can actually open a restaurant serving cuisine from your home country. There might not be a restaurant in that town that actually serves Lebanese cuisine. There may not be a Lebanese restaurant in the country that you moved to. So maybe you want to be that first Lebanese restaurant. There may not be a Jamaican restaurant there. Maybe you will be the first Jamaican cuisine restaurant there. Another thing you can do with regards to restaurant business is you can actually do catering. So you can, if you are really truly good at like what you do, cooking and all, you can do this from home and start small. Scale up, scale up, scale up. So many food businesses have opened during lockdown. I know that, especially here in London, like so many, especially because restaurants have been closed, but people have still been able to pursue their dream, like actually start this up and giving other people access to all different kinds of food. I think I've seen a couple of Ugandan ones. Yeah, people are still thriving. If food is your thing, you can definitely open a restaurant with your own local cuisine, or start a catering business and run your food business from home. Another thing that I recently saw, just today actually, is somebody who started a business based on one specific food, dairy item. You don't have to serve every single item of food that you can think of in a culture. You can actually serve just one item and just do that one thing well and make loads and loads and loads of varieties to it. You know, set up at home, eventually rent a factory space. You can just do one thing and do it really, 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 really well and make it fly, you know? Okay, so number 3 would be a business that serves the locals. So this is something that I would definitely say you need to figure out. I can't specify a business for every single country in this world because we would be here forever. Are you going to France? Are you going to Spain? Are you going to Mozambique? Figure out which business would best serve the people and do something with that idea. There are different ways of doing research. If you'd like me to make a video about how to research business opportunities in a country, let me know and I can try to do that for you. But yes, there's always that one thing that you can do to actually serve the locals. It might be philanthropic, it might be for leisure, it might be just something generally helpful. There's actually different opportunities. Maybe somebody is already doing it, but maybe you feel like you can do it better. There is that as well. Maybe there is a gap in the market that you feel that you can fill. Consider that as well. There's always a business that could better serve the locals. Even with this one food business idea that I found out about today that this lady was doing, she did it because she realized that there's this resource here but they're actually not producing this specific product, so let me do it. And that's how she found her space. Okay, so number 4 is actually a language learning service. You can teach your native language or you can teach English. If you're going to a country where you don't know the language just yet, it's probably not a good idea for you to try and be teaching it, but you can always, if you know English, you can always teach in English, and there are many platforms that you can do that online. Once you do your research, you'll see and you'll know exactly what the demand is. A quick up and go business. Number 5 is import and export. Of course, this should definitely be legal stuff and in a legal way, but there are many places that either have like crazy expensive shipping services or they just don't have fast shipping services, and you can be the solution, you know. I've seen how the people in Uganda are doing it now. Some business stepped in and like thought of a very fast way to import and export. So just find a way to see exactly how you can make it work. You could even go as far as to specify in a specific product, and yeah, I think that could be quite a good business if you know how to do it. Okay, so the 6th business idea is real estate. This is probably one of the best, I would say, because once you buy the house, it is going to be paying you forever. You could live in it, rent out a couple of rooms, Airbnb, serviced accommodation, or just like rent out the whole property and you live somewhere else. Real estate is big. You could do renovations and then charge a prime on that, or you can just simply just buy for yourself, even have a few spare rooms and rent out. That works for some people, so definitely look into that. And you know, if it's something that you want to do but you don't have the money for now, you can always have that as a goal in mind, as something you definitely would like to do. Of course, if you want to buy your own house first, you can do that and then go on to buy your second property and then use that second property as your business property. You know, some of these business ideas, they will take some planning. Maybe it will take some time. Maybe it's not the business idea that you can hit the ground running with because you only have 3 months to work with. But if you do have a long-term plan in a country, you can definitely consider one of these ideas, because I do think that they do have like quite a lot of potential. No matter how small or minor a role may seem or may come across, with like the English teaching that I mentioned earlier, you'll start off by teaching somebody one-to-one, and then eventually, before you know it, you've got a whole school, an English school, an academy. So you never know how the smallest of ideas can grow. It's really all about you and how far you're willing to take it. Okay, so number 7 is photography and or videography. There are so many avenues you can go down with this. You can serve both the locals or visitors, or specify in a niche such as events or fashion or portrait, food, advertising, that kind of thing. So that is a business that you can start straight away. Like each one of these points I could go deeper in depth with, so let me know if you would like me to kind of release a series. Okay, so number 8 is farming. This is definitely something that you would need to have a keen interest in. You can check on the local crops, what's growing, what's in abundance there. That I'm sure that would definitely benefit you. Like in certain countries there are just certain crops that grow better, faster. Check out what is local, what is always in season, or what is there in abundance, and what you can do, what the ground is good for. And then you can look into your farming options. Like in Africa, like the possibilities are endless. But yeah, it just depends on where you are. Okay, so number 9 is a business based on your already established career. Perhaps it would actually benefit you more to set up a limited company and be contracted instead of being an employee to the company. Make more money by being contracted. Just works out sometimes much better that way. So definitely explore your options with the career that you already have established, your qualifications. Okay, so number 10 is coaching and consulting. You can set yourself up as like a life coach or a business coach. Somebody did actually ask me what exactly is a consultant. Yeah, I mean, I do have the description for that. It's quite easy to kind of Google like what it is. I know that sometimes people do want it kind of broken down. You can actually become a coach or a consultant in a specific area. Life coach, business coach, yeah, relationship coach, whatever. And the thing about coaching is, yes, you can actually become a coach without qualifications. Obviously the qualifications do give you credibility, but the thing about coaching is you coach from your experience in most cases. So for example, if you've been through a specific thing, if you have experience in a specific area, if you've worked in a specific field, I've noticed that when it comes to kind of life things, personal things, relationship, mindset, business, all this kind of like self-employment, entrepreneurship, people are more likely to call themselves a coach. But when it comes to like people coming from careers, employment in like bigger companies, people are more likely to call themselves a consultant. They do more consulting. But essentially they are very, very similar. They hold very, very similar principles. Like I said about setting up a business based on your already established career, which was point number 9, the previous point, that business could just be consulting. That's one avenue that you could take, and you coach from where you're coming from, whether it be personal or whether it be professional. I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's been inspirational. I hope it's kind of prompted something in you that would trigger thoughts of, what can I do? Instead of just thinking about being an employee, how can I set myself up for the future? Or even if I'm in a job now, what can I think of doing that I haven't thought of before? It could just be one thing that you do well, but it's just all about kind of scaling up and going a bit bigger and a bit harder with it, you know? So anyways, guys, I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as well as turn your notifications on so you know exactly when I've uploaded a video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.